Hello, and welcome to Rallying the Forge. I'm your host, Sol.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rallying the Forge. I'm Solimer. We've just wrapped up the Shadows Over Solis Championship Series Qualifier 3, and that was very exciting. So congrats to everyone who made top cut, and to the winners. I'm not going to spoil it because this video is going to come out before I post matches up, but always exciting to see how that shakes out. We'll probably have a video before the championship next month analyzing these qualifiers to see what deck archetypes people played and how they fared and whatnot. So today's video, though, is going to be, we're looking at set 4 Uterra creatures, and we're going to do a little review. We're going to do top 2 Darkforged creatures, do a top 5 of the non-Darkforged creatures, and that's, we're not going to be in any particular order. I think we'll do them alphabetical, and then we'll have an honorable mention. We're going to have one card that I think design-wise they could have done a little differently or made it better, or they missed the mark maybe. And then I'll have the best forged creature for Uterra, in my opinion, with the best modifier, and with what the best creature on that would be. So we can jump in here, and I hope I have it on the right card. I do. Good. So best Darkforged card, perhaps in the set, is the Descendant Biologist. It is such a crazy good card. You activate, take some damage, and you get a Wisp minion, and you pump all your minions, all the stats. You can see the numbers there. The damage does increase, thankfully, on this guy. But this is a very popular card, and I do think he warrants, this spot. He is definitely a strong card. You can obviously use it with other decks that pump minions out. This thing can pump minions out. If you have a hunting hour, you can untap it and play more and pump more. It can get out of hand. You've got to get him off the board ASAP, and then you've got to worry about all the minions. So I don't know how many decks played him today, but he's definitely been around a lot since set 4 released. So definitely a top-notch card. The other one I picked, I really like this card. I don't know if everyone would rank it as the second best in Uterra, but the Blasphemous Tangle Sprout, that is also... this one is one of my favorites to play with the Darkforged deck, whether you have the Biologist or not. I'll speak a little bit more on why, but the Defender, the level 1, not a big fan of, just -2 health. Okay, but then you get to the 2 and 3, where you're getting -2 attack and then -4 attack and health for both of them. It's really strong. It's hard for them to get to. If you with the Darkforged deck, you want to bring your health down anyhow, so that's not really a problem, I don't think. Sorry, camera just looks the hair off. So I really like it. If you can get it out there in the cycles 2 and 3, this thing can wreck your opponent. You can keep their creatures small, get them off the board. If you have the Biologist, then you're going to have plenty of stuff around for them to deal with, lots of things for them to deal with. But I like this card. Once you get it leveled up, it's such a strong card, and it can, and your opponent will definitely try to find a way to get rid of it. So those are the 2 Darkforged cards I selected. And I think they're both very, very, I don't want to say balanced, but their power levels are fair. For the Darkforged cards seem to have slightly higher power level, but the trade-off is your health. So I think they're well balanced in that regard. I don't know about well balanced as far as actually, when they go into play, I don't know. The biologist definitely seems slightly overtuned. I'm not sure what they could have done with that to bring it down a notch, but this card here seems fine. But the biologist probably not as much. So, all right. So we'll start with my five top Uterra creatures. Again, these are going to be alphabetical for the most part, unless I screw up. So the first one is Dozer the Slumbering Fairy. Also a favorite of mine. I love the level 3 art. I like cards that have the 3 art images on them. In original SolForge, that's how they all were. This may be from the original SolForge, the original art. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. I like how when you're leveling it up, you get a new image. And to me, the level 3 is just hilarious. He's just absolutely destroying this robot, or maybe it's a metamind scientist of some nature from this set. But it is wrecking it, and I love it. The level 1's a good, strong body with breakthrough. The level 2, obviously, if you can get it towards the end of the cycle to get it to flip nice. At worst, it's just a big body to block with, and then similar to like Krugaius. And then you got the level 3 is really nice. He can clear his own lane and then deal damage to the opponent, or if they had a super big threat out that you need to get removed, well, he could potentially hit it twice with the striking and then the combat if needed. But he's a fun card. And he's a beast, which also helps for tribal type decks. So he's a good card. One of my favorites for sure. I am always happy to see him pop up in a deck. I really get kind of excited about it because I want to have a deck with him that just wrecks, and I haven't found it yet. I haven't made a ton of new set 4 decks lately, even though I've opened a bunch of packs. But Dozer is definitely, in my opinion, a top 5 card in the for Uterra that's not Darkforged. The next card we have is a buddy. It's Calthor, and he obviously pumps beasts. He gets deploy on his first 2 levels, and then level 3 is activate, which is really strong. His stats are not wild, but if you can get a strong beast deck with him, or a bunch of beasts in a deck with him, he can be really strong. And it's just, he doesn't have the biologist every turn can put a new minion out and pump all your minions. He just gets it on deploy. Level 3, he's got the activate there, but he's definitely a top-notch card, especially if you're trying to do beasts. But he also works with warriors if you're mixing it with like a Verlana type deck. Maybe you've got beast and warriors. They can synergize a little bit there, so he is nice for that. But I definitely think he's still a very, very good card. By no means is he broken, but if you can get a good beast deck with him and level 3, activate him a bunch, you can take over a game. All right, after Calthor, this is one of the top cards in Uterra, and probably an entire set 4, and that's Kor Kidrith. And obviously Kor is, anytime a spell is played by your opponent or you can then activate him. You get a Wisp, play a level 1 creature for free, and then just play a creature for free. Such a strong ability. He's also a warrior and a mage, so he's got dual tribes there. And so obviously his body is decent. It's not poor. It's not gonna be obviously too strong where he's being the aggressor necessarily, but He can survive against other creatures a few turns, so you get some uses out of him if you had to. But he's just such a strong card. You play a spell, you get a free creature. Obviously you're going to build your deck around that. When you have him, you're going to have that as something you're looking to do. So he can be really good if your opponent doesn't get rid of him, doesn't see him as a threat. As long as you've got spells to go, you're going to be able to put stuff out there and keep filling up lanes. And eventually your opponents can realize, like, I need to get rid of him because I don't want to have to keep having my big creatures blocked by a wisp or a level 1 creature, depending on when you get that and play it and whatnot. But, yeah, definitely one of the top cards in set 4. I think this is actually a pretty balanced card. I don't think it's broken. I think his brother's card is more broken, but this card's just strong. And can it be taken advantage of and made OP for a moment? Sure. But I think it takes very specific circumstances for that to happen. And, if a player can get that to pop off every once in a while, so be it. I think the card is very well balanced, and it's a very strong card and a very good card. So that's Core Kidrith. And then we've got, what are we on here? 1, 2, 3. The fourth one, Mimic Worm. It's another beast. And I like this one, not because it's anything ridiculous. I like it as what it really can do. Obviously, if a Kelter with it, that's different. But you can get the level 3 and you get to play 3 creatures for 1. You can fill up some lanes depending on what you're doing. The state of the game, that can be really huge. You can buy you an entire turn to get to a new cycle, to get a better hand or whatever it might be. I think this is really a good card. I don't think it's overpowered, of course. I don't feel like there's too many broken cards in set 4. I think there's some really strong ones. There might only be a couple that I feel are broken, and they both happen to be in Decrium. But Mimic Worm, I think it's one of the top cards. If I was building a deck and I had all 5 of the cards that I'm going to have shown here, I would be very happy with it. Now, I know they all synergize, but that's not how I built this. But it just, yeah, I think it's one of the top cards for Uterra, one of the top creatures you can get. There might be some Forge creature combinations you might be able to get that might be better. Like a Felon Arc, depending on what modifier it gets, can be really good. But for non-forged creatures, I definitely think Mimic Worm is one of the better ones. And then lastly, this is another favorite of mine. This is probably my favorite augment in Uterra, and that's the Verdant Watch. Obviously, it comes out. It's not a bad statted card. Depending on the situation, it could live a turn before you need to activate it and sack it. You don't sack it, you just attach it so it doesn't get destroyed. But, you pump a creature up pretty big, which is nice, and you give it breakthrough. That's really useful, especially for some of these creatures where they have low health, decent attack. They have some sort of ability that you're trying to use. Like I'm thinking like a KC Kid in particular. He's offset with a low health because his ability is so good. His attack's fair, it's decent, but this card, one, gives him breakthrough and pumps him up, and now he's got good health. He's got great attack. He's got breakthrough. He's got a great trigger. Like, this kind of card is really, really good. Some of those Necrium augments, you got to wait till they get destroyed or find a way to destroy them to get them to go on. This one, you choose when you use it. Just got to activate them and then pop it on something. So this is probably my favorite augment in Uterra. Not that there aren't other good ones, but this one in particular is just really, really good. Breakthrough's such a great ability. So those are the top 5. Should just call them the top 5 non-forged cards because I keep the forged cards separate because I only pull one out. But so this will be my honorable mention, and everyone's gonna feel different about it. Some people probably not happy with Mimic Worm being in there. People probably won't like this one as the honorable mention. But another one that I really, really like and I think is really strong, and I think people are starting to come around on it a little bit. I've been using it in one of my decks. It just flowed in a sealed event, and it just ever since then it's one of my favorite Uterra decks that has this in it. But Vita Sprout can gain you so much health when you get a full board going. I've got it with a Tangle Sprout. I mentioned when I talked about the Tangle Sprout why I like the Tangle Sprout so much. It's a defender. This is a defender, and people have to choose which one they're going to go after if they don't have the, like if they don't have Ice Torn or something in their hand type of thing. But this card can really gain you some life back, and if you're playing a Blighted deck, this can help offset when you take too much damage and give you more health back, so that way you can keep using your abilities such as the Biologist or the Tangle Sprout. And it make, when you have all that stuff going on, it can be very hard for your opponent to focus on different things. Either you're going to be gaining a ton of life, or you need to kill off the Biologist, or they're huge minions you got to block. Like, so much can go into it. It's just a card that I think the level 1 is a little weak with, the 1 health. It doesn't really show up, but you start noticing it with the level 2 and 3. When you start gaining health with a full board, it's big chunks. And even I've played it with, I'm playing a Darkforged deck, and the Darkforged stuff just isn't doing what I need it to do. It's not working out really that well. So instead, I'm doing Vita Sprout. I'm having my lanes full, and I'm just gaining life, and I ended up lit like 60 plus health with a Darkforged deck and winning because my health is just so high. So this one is an honorable mention for me. I think it's good, not great. I do like it. I might have picked it because I do like it a lot. There's some other good cards too. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. Are there other cards you would put in the top 5 for the non-forged cards? Do you have a different honorable mention? What cards do you guys think I missed out on that you think are just awesome? Please let me know in the comments. I'll respond to every comment that you guys make. With that said, let me get to the card that I think they missed the mark on, or at least I feel they did. And that's going to be Groma Bright Tusk. When I first saw this card initially, it was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting card. I wonder, it seems like it would work well. But I've used it now, and I don't like it. I mean, it's a 5/5, so it's not a great body. You're getting it at all 3 levels at 5/5, so that's kind of horrible. You have to replace something, so now you got to have something on the board to replace it with. And then the level 1, you just get a Wisp, which is okay. That's kind of expected. But the level 2, you get an Oak Father, and level 3, you get 2 Oak Fathers. That's nice, but at the same time, you're getting a 5/5, you're replacing something. And yeah, you're getting, I just feel there's better cards to give you the minions, maybe not in set 4, but other sets, than Groma. And I feel like the level 1 is a huge tempo loss, depending on what you're replacing. Now, obviously, if they Botanimated something, you're just replacing the Wisp, but then you're not really gaining anything either. You're losing something. You're getting Groma, which is a terrible creature on its own, and then it's not even a warrior, it's not a beast, it's a mage, and there's, as far as I can think right now, there's no real mage synergy in set 4. So they missed the mark on everything. You can't even use them with a beast deck or a warrior deck where maybe you get some extra synergies out of it. I feel this card just missed the mark. I don't think it's atrocious. I just think they could have done it they should have done it somehow different. I'm not sure exactly how. I would have rather had it where you didn't have to replace a creature. Maybe you have to sacrifice a creature. It's the same difference, really, but there's some other synergies you could use with that instead. I guess if you had an Apocalypser deck with this, that would work okay. But I don't know. I just haven't seen a deck with this in it that I'm like, hey, that actually works pretty well. Or, hey, this deck would work well with an Apocalypser Drix type deck, or just an Apocalypser. Like, I don't like it. And I feel like they missed the mark. I'm not sure exactly what it needs. If it had better stats as it got higher in level, that might make it worthwhile then. And then it's like, yeah, I want to play this because I'm getting a good creature and I'm getting an Oak Father. I'm replacing something, but I'm getting 2 good bodies for it. The 5/5, I don't know. I just don't like it, and I feel like it misses the mark, at least for me. Let me know if you guys feel different about this card. Do you think this is a good card? Do you think it's horrible like I do, or where do you sit on it? I'd be curious to hear what people think. So yeah, there's that. So, and then the last card I'm gonna talk about now is gonna be a forged creature. So I picked the best modifier, and I picked the best forged creature that can have a keyword for it. So this will be no surprise to anyone who knows me. If I have it up, here it is. This right here, this big boy. So I'm a huge fan of Terrapath. On its own, it's just a massive creature at level 3. The level 1 and 2 on it. In this instance, they're poor, but it's because it's vicious. But the Terrapath in most other forms is at least playable. And then the level 3 is just like, it's like a bear. You get a massive creature, and more often than not, it's going to be bigger than that. It's just going to be smaller than a Krogaius. But this is the biggest creature in the game. This surpasses Krogaius. This is the biggest creature in the game. And I like it. I always love seeing a Terrapath in a deck. It's like a free, it's one of the bland creatures in Uterra. And it's not a bad one because it's so massive. Like we talk about Aloyan and how bad their bland creatures are and how they riddle their decks and they ruin the decks. This card does not ruin a deck for Uterra. You may not like the lower levels of it, but even with no text, the level 3 is going to be useful to you, and it's going to be a threat for your opponent. So they have Uterra has better bland creatures than Aloyan does, and this is one of my favorites. I think Vicious is the best modifier. I just think because it makes creatures, no matter what creature it's on, it makes them huge, and it's a massive threat. So there could be decks where it may not be advantageous to have a vicious creature, but I think they're very good. They're a lot of fun to play. So, do you think there's a different forged keyword that would be better than vicious for Uterra? If so, feel free to let me know which creature does it fit best on. I think there are some good combinations with Felonarch. Tangles is a great modifier. I just happen to like Vicious better. I like it better than Tangle. But there's a lot to be said for some of the other modifiers. There are also some really poor modifiers too. So, but feel free to let me know. This is all the Uterra creatures that I'm gonna go through. What's that, like 10 of them? So I went through a good chunk, and like we did with Aloyan. So now we have Necrim and Tempest left. I don't know which one I'll do next, but we'll find out probably by next week. And so I hope you enjoyed my review of set 4. I know it's just an honest take. It's just what I've seen. By no means does this mean these are the top 10 cards in the faction. A lot of that's open to interpretation, also to what you have in a deck with certain cards. There are definitely going to be situations where you're like, maybe not this one, but a different card would be like, this card's useless in this deck. So that can definitely happen with any card almost. And, so this is just my opinion. And a lot of these cards for Uterra I am enjoying playing with, so hopefully you are as well. I'd be curious to see what you guys are finding and enjoying, and would love to hear about it. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys watching the stream or the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment if you want. As I said, if you put a comment, I will definitely do my best to respond in a timely manner. But I thank you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
This has been an episode of Rallying the Forge. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.